Our next guest on Central Valley Business is Robert Loyd from, what's the company name?
HRBC Insurance.
HRBC Insurance. Now, you help seniors.
Yes, we do. Seniors or any of those who have been disabled for a little over 2 years.
Because as it turns out, the Medicare that they get doesn't always cover everything.
No, it doesn't.
Or would you say it never covers everything?
No, it actually covers a good amount. It's just there's, like most healthcare things, there's gaps and there's ways to fill those.
Yeah, sometimes if you have a medical need and you have to come up with a 20% copayment or something, it could wipe you out.
It could, especially for a lot of those, and being seniors, many of them are on what they would say fixed incomes, where they're either getting what they're getting from Social Security, or there are a few of them out there that still own businesses and go about, but majority of them.
And I understand another big one that the Medicare doesn't cover is all of the medicines. Medicines are expensive nowadays.
No. Those are usually the killers.
And so you recommend that people on Medicare do what to supplement that?
There's a couple different options. With medications is probably the most options available.
Okay. There's different plans, maybe one for a medication supplement or a whatever?
There's quite a bit. For those who are having trouble with medications, a lot of them don't even know if you don't qualify for Medi-Cal, you can possibly qualify for just medication support through Social Security. Medi-Cal typically takes into account all your assets. The support from Social Security just takes into account your income. They don't care about your cars, your home, and so a lot of times you can get Medi-Cal rates on your prescriptions without having to get Medi-Cal.
Without being on Medi-Cal, just Social Security. Now, you said Medicare takes in your assets, your
Medi-Cal. So Medi-Cal is the state program. Medicare is the federal one. So a lot of times people don't qualify for Medi-Cal and they're paying all these higher rates for prescriptions. But a lot of times if they make under $18,000, a lot of times they can qualify for extra support without having to actually qualify for Medi-Cal. But as far as how you said for prescriptions, I mean, you got an array of support, whether you can get a prescription drug plan. Won't cost you somewhere in the ballpark of $30 to $50 depending on how big you want. You can get a supplemental plan or even a Medicare Advantage plan.
Okay. Now, a guy like me, I'm in perfect health. I'm going to be 60 in a couple of years, and I don't even need insurance probably or a supplement. I bet a lot of people think that. And then they go to the doctor, and the doctor says, you need this prescription, and the pills are $80 a pill or something like that.
Oh, it can get out of hand real quick with that. There's a lot of options for someone like you. I mean, depending on what specialist you're seeing, what medications you have two major options. If you're not going to get just a straight drug plan, you can get either a supplement or a Medicare Advantage plan, which typically takes care of everything down to just a few copays. And some options you can get dental and glasses coverage, as well as transportation to and from the doctor in case you can't get a ride.
Now, if somebody's on Medicare now and they do have a supplemental plan, can they just switch anytime?
Depends.
Switch supplemental plans, I mean.
Majority of the time, no. They have to wait till open enrollment, which is October 15th through December 7th.
So it's coming up here.
Yeah, it's coming up here soon.
Are you gearing up for that to help a lot of people?
I am. We try to set it up so that way all the avenues are open for everybody, whether it's through their local church, the doctor. That way they have options available to them. And we try to stick with, where they're going to get the most support, at their doctor's office or at their local church, where they can tell the people are really there for them.
Now, you say open enrollment starts October
15th.
October 15th. So should they wait and call you on October 15th or 16th? Or
no, they don't have to. A lot of times, like right now, we're meeting with a lot of patients and clients, just figuring out what are their needs right now, what's come up over the past year. Did they have a medication issue that wasn't covered that we don't want to run into next year, or maybe they found out this year dental was a big thing and it wasn't covered as much as they thought in their current plan or what they had before. And we try to gear up for that so that way we can set them up to win.
So you could start getting ready for the open enrollment now. You start going through ideas and plans. And do you just have one thing you offer, or you could offer them a whole? Oh,
we offer a little bit of everything, but we really try to tailor down on what's going to work best for them based off their budget, what coverages are important to them. Who do they even see as their doctor? Every doctor takes different plans, so you got to find out if their doctor even takes the one that may be the best for them.
And you don't want to be undercovered, and it's expensive to be overcovered too, I would imagine.
Oh, it can be. Some of the supplements can get up there in over $100 a month, and if that's not the best plan for you, for example, there's a Medicare Advantage plans, which they have costs sometimes too, but sometimes they don't cost anything depending on the plan. And if that's a good fit for you, yeah, you could be saving quite a bit a year.
So if you, let's say last open enrollment, you bought a supplemental plan to your Medicare, and mid-year you got a brand new prescription that's not covered and it's just killing you money wise. Can you get if it's a pre-existing prescription, can you get a new supplement, an open enrollment?
No, you can't change it. A lot of times, if it's not covered, the doctor will work with them where they'll try to get a prior authorization to get it at least thrown into one of the brackets to get covered. But in that case, there is for prescriptions what they call catastrophic coverage, where for whatever reason your coverage for medications go over. It's like $3,600 a year, $4,something hundred a year. Don't quote me on the exact numbers, but if it goes over a pretty obscene amount, at that point you don't have to pay anything.
Mid-interview, I usually like to do this review. Robert Loyd is his name. Tell us the name of the company.
It's HRBC Insurance.
HRBC. And how would they reach you specifically?
Specifically, they can reach me mainly by my cell phone at 559-708-1446. We also have a website. If you go to hrbcinsurance.com, where it kind of gives an overview about how everything works, as well as other ways to contact us.
So that number you gave out, it goes to a secretary and an assistant, and they'll eventually get transferred.
That one actually goes to me.
It goes straight to you. I like that.
If you go to the website, it does have a 1-800 number that will go through all that. I try to avoid that because nobody likes to be put on hold.
And I was kind of ribbing you a little because I knew it was your own number, and I thought that is great because, man, I have insurance people and different people sell me stuff, and I can't reach them. And the idea you give out your direct cell phone is fantastic. I like that a lot. So, in fact, my parents are coming up to open enrollment in October. I'm going to have them give you a call.
Yeah, I'd be love to sit down with your parents, get to meet who they made you to be.
And they always say, we're fine. But I think they should talk each time. I think they should talk to someone like you, right, and just review it. If they're good, you'll tell them, right?
Yeah, we try to sit down every year with them just because every year there's always a change to a plan or maybe there's a whole new one available just to let people know, even if just for the sake of going, hey, you're still good.
So who should call you? Just seniors?
Seniors, those who have been on disability for more than 2 years are sometimes eligible for Medicare as well.
Okay.
But mainly those who are over 65, you have a variety of options available to you that you might not even be aware of. A lot of times they think they only have Social Security or they only have just one type of plan because that's all that's been brought to their attention.
Right.
But there's a whole variety of options that typically don't necessarily have to have a cost to it.
And a lot of the people that are your target market aren't especially looking on the web research.
Oh, no.
It's nice to be able to call a guy and sit down and say, what does it all mean?
Yeah, 80% of my appointments are either in a doctor's office with the patient or at their house. Very little is done over the phone, if nothing, or mostly the phone is just to set up, hey, where do you live and when is a good time for me to come by and check it out.
You're the best insurance guy out there. We call his phone directly and he goes to your house. That's great. So
it's nice. The senior population takes care of you too. Usually might get cookies out of it.
Now, what good for you. And about what age are people getting on Medicare? Is it 62?
65.
65.
I know a lot of people that comes up a lot where they are retiring at 62. Awesome. But you don't get Medicare till 65.
And do you help those people, or they have to?
I let them know that if they're 62 or so, kind of what to look forward to when they come. When you should start being aware of it. You're probably going to get mail around 64 or so, and you're going to get bombarded. Maybe just be aware of it, and I support them with that. But 65 is when it really rolls over. And we support people too. For example, you might be coming out of a union or teachers or whatever, and they usually have programs that roll over for them. And a lot of times I'll be very clear with them, you're probably best there. Let's not bother changing anything.
So you're going to get Medicare when you're 65, and it's going to be provided by the federal government, and but there's a gap, and the gap should be filled with a supplement.
It should or shouldn't. It very depends on the person. There's a supplement plan, which is essentially provided by a private company to take care of your Part A and Part B, and it fills in the gaps. And then there's a Medicare Advantage plan, same style, except it's taken care of by a private company like Humana or Anthem or quite a few others. But it doesn't, those ones typically have lower copays, and they provide prescription drug coverage, whereas a supplement doesn't have drug coverage. It's a separate thing. So it's quite a bit to go over, hence why we call ourselves Medicare Made Simple. We sit down and try to really lay it out in a way that you can understand and get down to the root of what is it you're really looking for.
Well, until this interview just now, I always assumed Medicare Advantage was just part of the government program.
Oh, no, that's its whole separate thing. And then there's supplementals, also known as Medigaps. And then there's prescription drug plans, which are their own monster.
Right. And I was just kidding you about I'm in perfect health. I don't need any of that. That's the point. Is we're getting older. And I'm going to be 6, 7, 8 years. I'll be there. I'll be a Medicare. And I need to be ready. So probably coming up to 65, I'm going to want to meet with you. And see if I need any supplements or
I mean, even
extras.
if you are in perfect health, there's a lot of individuals that go to the doctor, and if you have original Medicare, you still have to pay 20% of that visit. Whereas if you get a supplemental or a Medicare Advantage plan, depending on the kind you get, you could be walking away with a copay as little as nothing, or a lot of them around $5 or $10.
And you don't mind paying 20% of, a doctor visit is $5, $10, $20, but when you get something major and you're paying 20% of $100,000 or something like that.
It's usually what we want to make sure we have covered, right? Emergency coverage.
The big deal.
Expensive ambulance bill.
Anyway, I want to review how and where to reach you one more time, but just want to give you a moment to say anything you want. I always tend to talk too much, and my producer says, let the guest talk. So in the end, I would say, hey, anything you want to add?
It's. I know it can seem daunting when you get onto Medicare and everything. At the end of the day, the main parts most people are aware of is they have Part A and Part B, which are provided by Medicare themselves. Part A, typically free, as long as you put in about 10 years of work that you paid into it. Part B usually hovers around 105, can vary depending on your income. Unless you have Medi-Cal, you don't have to pay for it. And then there's, like I said, there's the supplementals, which are typically have a premium attached to them. They are essentially the private industry taking over, subcontracting out the Medicare part of it. Part A and B, Medicare Advantage plans, same style, usually a little less in cost, but they have lower copays as well. And then there's your drug plans, which are essentially, they only take care of prescriptions for those, which might be something that may be all you need when you get to a healthy age. But we try to sit down with you, make it simple, go over all your options. What is it that's important to you in your health care? It comes up often. And then really sit down and try to make it work out for you. What would be the best option that fits in your budget?
Very good. And you don't need to become an expert. You have Robert Loyd.
That's it.
He'll read through everything, figure everything out, and know what's good and know what's needed, and give you the best recommendation for the best possible price you could get them.
That's it. Try to keep it simple, and so you can worry about the other things in your life.
Okay, Robert Loyd, tell them again how they should find you, how they should reach you.
The best place to reach me is going to be my cell phone at 559-708-1446, or you can go to our website at HRBCinsurance.com, and you can learn a little bit more about everything there, as well as contact us through email. And it'll also have a 1-800-HELP desk number where you can reach in contact with someone who can go over it with you as well.
Very good. Robert Loyd, and if you really can't find him or you didn't write down the number in time, call us here at Central Valley Talk. We'll put you in touch with Robert Loyd for your Medicare needs, Medicare supplements, Medicare, just understanding it. He'll help you through everything. Stick around. We have more Central Valley Business right after this.